Can I ask you something?
Sure.
When was the last time someone asked how you're doing and really meant it?
I honestly can't remember.
Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I'm really glad you could join me today because we're going to be diving into something that's honestly a bit of a hidden epidemic. We're exploring this quiet, almost completely invisible exhaustion that affects millions of couples. It's a hidden dynamic that just slowly, silently drains the life right out of otherwise healthy relationships. Today we're talking about deeply capable people. You know, the ones who basically keep the world running and the heavy, unspoken burden they carry right through their front doors.
So let me ask you, have you ever noticed something kind of strange about the people in your life who carry the absolute most responsibility? The folks everyone else always depends on? The ones who literally never complain, who just handle the logistics, the finances, the heavy emotional weight of the whole family, and who always seem perfectly okay? Well, what happens when two of those highly responsible, deeply capable people actually marry each other? Often, they end up receiving the absolute least support, simply because no one ever thinks they need it.
Let's take Michael and Sarah, for example. Now, to the outside world, these two present this absolutely perfect, united front. They're totally composed, they've got great jobs, a nice home, and all their responsibilities are completely under control. People look at them and just think, wow, you two really have it all together. But what nobody else sees is what happens behind closed doors, right after those perfect public smiles fade. There is this silent, creeping loneliness that they're both experiencing. Because honestly, sometimes loneliness in a marriage isn't caused by a lack of love at all. It's actually caused by two utterly exhausted people carrying way too much for way too long.
Now, you might be wondering, how does this actually happen? Because the truth is, couples don't just wake up one random Tuesday completely disconnected from each other. It happens really gradually, step by step. It usually starts with just a busy season. Then maybe it's managing a new mortgage. Then comes raising kids. Or maybe navigating a totally unexpected family health crisis. Or hitting some financial setbacks. Life just relentlessly demands more and more. And because Michael and Sarah are good, highly responsible people, they step up. They push through it. But very slowly, the marriage stops being a safe refuge and subtly transforms into just another logistical responsibility that they have to manage.
And right there, that is the exact moment things start to break down. See, on one side, you've got logic, data points, and total efficiency. But on the other side, you have empathy, feeling, and a desperate, deeply human need for connection. Their conversations devolve into these endless, dry information exchanges. Did you pay the bill? What time is the dentist appointment? Hey, can you grab groceries on the way home? They're talking constantly, right? But they are connecting on absolutely nothing. Constantly, right? The marriage is functioning flawlessly on a logistical level, but emotionally, they are completely unheard and unvalidated. Something deep inside is literally starving.
All right, so here is the absolutely crucial point we need to understand. It's a concept we call the loneliness of the capable. This is a highly specific, very real type of emotional isolation. It happens when you appear so strong and so incredibly dependable that people simply stop asking if you're struggling. When your partner sees you flawlessly carrying the weight of the world, they just assume you're perfectly fine. So, Michael naturally assumes Sarah's handling things. Sarah assumes Michael has it all under control. But the tragic part? Both of those assumptions are dead wrong. Actually, it helps to think of this whole psychological dynamic like an enormous iceberg. Up above the surface, in the conscious mind, Michael and Sarah are standing strong, presenting that impenetrable united front to the world and to each other. But underneath the waterline, down in the deep unconscious mind, the reality is incredibly dark. They are both swimming in this hidden sea of fear, profound loneliness, and a really agonizing feeling of rejection. They're both desperately longing for connection, but they are just way too afraid of vulnerability to reach out. And when we really zoom in and look closer at those deep roots way beneath the surface, we start to see what's actually fueling all their visible conflicts. When they're arguing over scheduling or finances, I promise you it is almost never actually about the money or the calendar. It's stemming from these deep, totally unmet feelings. It's a fundamental fear of abandonment, a profound feeling of being unappreciated, and a really quiet, desperate wish for true intimacy. They are both just starving for someone to validate those hidden emotional needs.
You can literally see the heavy emotional toll this takes on a person. I mean, they are physically sharing the exact same life, living in the exact same house, and yet they feel miles and miles apart. Michael sits heavily in his chair, completely overwhelmed by pressure, while Sarah stares longingly out a totally separate window, just wrapped up in her own exhaustion. They're sitting right side by side, yet they're completely alone in their individual struggles.
So, why on earth don't they just speak up?
Well, it usually comes down to these absolutely devastating internal monologues. Michael stays quiet because he thinks, man, I don't want to worry her. Sarah hides her exhaustion because her brain says, I really don't want to add to his burden. And, this silence feels so noble to them. It feels selfless, it feels like an act of deep, genuine love. But in reality, these loving intentions to protect one another are exactly the thing creating this agonizing chasm of distance between them.
To really grasp why this happens, we kind of have to look at how the human brain works. When life's demands become way too overwhelming, the brain essentially flips a switch and activates protection mode. It throws up this defensive shield, focusing entirely on emotional regulation and threat analysis. It prioritizes pure survival and efficiency over vulnerability. So, in order to manage the immense stress of their daily lives, their brains literally shut down their emotional accessibility. Which unfortunately leads us right into this deeply heartbreaking paradox of protection. The brain's defenses end up encasing Michael in what feels like a thick block of ice, this impenetrable armor of emotional isolation. The more they try to protect the relationship by hiding their struggles and burying their stress, the less known they actually become to each other. And the less known they become, the more intensely lonely they feel. By trying so hard to be strong to save the marriage, they're actually starving it of the vulnerability it needs to survive.
But then, there's a turning point. Imagine the whole scene just slowing right down. It's late in the evening. The dishes are finally done, the house is completely quiet for once. There are absolutely no emergencies to manage. Sarah approaches Michael, and she doesn't have a to-do list. She approaches with genuine empathy. She just gently reaches out and touches his arm. And in that quiet, really profound moment, the hard protective armor of his isolation just physically shatters. The wall finally comes down.
And the crazy part? It doesn't happen with some dramatic, perfectly polished movie speech. It happens with just one raw, super simple truth. Michael takes a deep breath and just says, I've been carrying a lot lately. That is it. Profound reconnection rarely starts with fixing a logistical problem, guys. It starts with raw honesty. It starts when two capable people finally give each other permission to take off the mask and just admit that they are bone tired.
Society really trains us to believe that whenever there's a problem, what we desperately need are solutions, advice, bulletproof strategies. But look at all we actually need as human beings. We need permission to stop performing strength every single second of the day. We need someone to just sit beside us and simply say, wow, that sounds really hard. We don't need our partner to magically fix the mortgage rate or the crazy work stress. We just need the profound comfort of knowing we aren't carrying that heavy burden all by ourselves.
Because real, genuine intimacy in a marriage, it is definitely not built on being this flawless, infinitely strong superhero partner. It's built on having the absolute courage to let the person you love see your exhaustion, your fear, and your basic, messy humanity. When Michael and Sarah finally lock eyes and drop the act, the loneliness just evaporates, not because all their problems are suddenly solved, but because they are finally facing them as a true team again.
So I want to offer you a highly practical, really transformative shift that you can literally make tonight. When you see your partner later, try to bypass that routine, dry, logistical data exchange. Instead of asking the standard autopilot, how was your day, try asking a question that actually invites true emotional safety. Ask them, what's been heavy for you lately? And here's the trick. When they answer, don't try to fix it. Don't analyze it for them. Just listen to understand.
And look, I really want to reassure you here. Feeling intensely lonely in your marriage right now, it does not automatically mean the love is gone forever. It definitely doesn't mean your relationship is broken beyond repair. Honestly, it usually just means you're two incredibly good people who have just been carrying far too much for far too long. You just need to take the masks off and remember that you are looking at the exact same horizon together. As you start walking forward together, just remember that breaking these old negative patterns, it takes time, and it takes real intentionality. If today's analysis resonated with you at all, I highly recommend checking out the books featured in today's source material. Harmonious Marriage is designed specifically to help couples elevate their relationship through really deep self-awareness. And the companion book, Mantras of Love, beautifully blends ancient Hindu wisdom with very modern practical relationship guidance. I've put the links to both of those in the description below to help you guys take that next step toward healing. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. The true goal of marriage was never to find someone who would flawlessly carry every single burden for you. The real goal was to find someone with whom you never have to carry your burdens alone.
So what's it going to be? Will you continue to hold it all by yourself, or will you finally let the person right beside you help bear the weight? If this explainer opened your eyes today, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can keep exploring the hidden dynamics of relationships together. Take care of yourself out there, and please, take care of the person walking beside you.